This is the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast, brought to you by Sysco. Sysco is here to help set you up for success by delivering high-quality foods, products, and services for your restaurant. Recording live to digital from the NCF&B studios in downtown Raleigh. Join us as we lead you into the kitchen, inside the bottle, and into the minds of the food and beverage industry. And now, complaining that their ceviche was too cold, it's Max Trujillo and Matthew Weiss.
Hello, and thank you for listening to the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast. I am your co-host, Max Trujillo.
And I am your co-host, Matthew Weiss. And today, our special guest, this guy puts the Padre in the newest, hottest spot in downtown Raleigh, Madre. He is the chef, Luis Zouain. What's up, chef?
How's it going? You almost pulled it up right. It was good.
I know, I messed up your first name. That's the easy part, Luis.
And you said it like it's like the way you guys talk about pigs. It's like swine, right?
I always try to say that example to you guys because it's a different kind of last name. It's like it goes the same way that you say pork here, swine. And
it is different because you're from the Dominican Republic, but it reads almost like an Arabic name.
So my family from my father is from the Lebanon, so that's why we have that combination.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So that's nice. I was wondering, it was either Lebanon or Atlanta. It was one of the two. you're in there.
Very close.
Almost there. Very close there.
Yeah. But all right. So it's great to have you on the show. You are the newly appointed executive chef over at Madre, and Madre opened up this summer. Folks might know Madre, at least the owner of Madre, Tyler Hellickson, from all of his fantastic Happy and Hail restaurants, and he's been keeping us healthy and hailing all across the triangle. Really good guy. Just had a nice evening with him out at Madre and some friends. Your cocktails they do the job. They get them done.
They get it done. They get the things done.
Yeah, and it's a fun vibe.
The wine program is not too shabby either.
The wine Matt, do you sell wine to Madre?
Just like a bottle or two.
Oh, right. What is
We got to
that?
go upper that for sure.
What's that?
We got to go upper then for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
What do you think about that, Anthony?
Oh shit!
There it is. All right, it's like where the like the morning radio circus or whatever. Okay, but Luis, you've actually been cooking in here for in this area a little bit longer than just at Madre. People might have seen you around because tell me, where were you before this?
So before Madre, I was in Bloomsbury Bistro. It's the friendly bistro neighborhood in Five Points, and I spent there a year and something with Stephen Coster, and we got a good vibe, and it was awesome.
Yeah,
for me, it was a really good platform to actually get to know Raleigh, understand how things works here, and it was really, really good.
Yeah.
Where were you before? How did you come to Raleigh? How did you end up there?
It's been a hell of a roller coaster. So before coming to Raleigh, I'd been here almost 2 years. I was going back and forth between New York and my country. Like I was being more a consultant, like opening restaurants, designing menus, those kind of stuff. And in my country, I was doing the same. Like it was all that. My wife, the boss, told me, hey, of course. You got to know your place in the things.
Yeah.
So she told me that she got a scholarship at NC State and she was about to go to Raleigh. And it's like, okay, let's go. Like, I don't know nothing about Raleigh, but
why not?
Let's do it.
Yeah. And you're kind of a celebrity in your home country, right? Like, so you were on this show?
Yeah, I did. So, every country has MasterChef, and I participated in it, and it got pretty good. It was an amazing platform to get exposure and getting to know everyone. So that was really good.
So did you win?
I was number 4th.
Okay.
Before, we were 5,000 and something, and I got to number 4. So
okay, that's pretty good.
Can't complain.
People talk about that in the NFL, like, oh, you're a top 10 quarterback. I was like, yeah, but that's not that great. There's only 32 quarterbacks. Like,
yeah, you're in the upper 30 percentile. You're like a C minus.
Yeah, that's great. But out of 4 out of 5,000, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, that's good. By the way, no, we don't have to get into football talk, but the Raiders. I was giving you crap on a previous episode saying that the Giants might be the worst team in the league. If the Raiders don't fire their coach and just start over,
They're probably the most disappointing team in the league.
Oh,
Raiders, but
definitely on my side. I also hate to say this out loud. Just because I love him so much, you got to trade Devontae Adams. You just got to get some value out of him.
poor guy.
Because we got
Have to
nothing.
play with Jimmy G.
They
Jeez.
can't even do anything with him. They can't throw the ball to him. I'm like, if you are just trying to get the ball to a guy that obviously can blow away anybody out there, don't throw it out of bounds. Throw the ball deep in bounds so somebody can catch the ball.
Yeah.
That's it. No more football talk. I'm just irritated. So people understand we always record the show on Tuesday morning. So clearly this is Tuesday morning quarterback after a Monday Night Football game, and the Raiders just got smoked by the Detroit frickin' Lions.
Yeah, and well, I will have to give my review on Vegas because I am going out to see your Raiders play my Giants in Vegas this week. That's not true.
But that's right. You're going to go see them. This will be good. This will be a battle of who is worse.
Yeah, we will truly define who is worse. Great.
Stay tuned, everybody. Stay tuned. All right. But does football interest you at all?
The real football, yes.
Oh,
God. You're in America, son.
Congratulations to the new GOAT of soccer, although, most people say Pele, but did you know
itself.
Lionel Messi last night won his 8th Ballon d'Or trophy awarded to the best soccer player in the world.
Wow.
And he is the first MLS or current MLS player to ever win the award.
Yep.
So congratulations, Leo.
Yeah.
That's a lot of hype. But cool nonetheless, I guess. So Luis, you and I, we were the first time we actually really kind of hung out and chatted was at the Tidewater rice fields out there in the Outer
chef
Banks.
retreat.
Yeah, a little chef retreat. It was, I guess, hosted by Got to Be NC, and that was really cool. They invited us out there at the time when I was when Crafton was open, and we were doing craftin-y things, and Kyle Tears was our chef. We all went out there and we cooked, and I tried podcasting, but there also was a heavy metal band playing, and that is not conducive to radio or to microphones. Anyhow, did not disappoint as far as the fun being had. And you and I got to chat for a long while and found that you were a cool dude. Also, you may have the coolest motorcycle in town. I know Kyle Tears will have something to say about that with his awesome Triumph, but what are you riding? It's an Indian, right?
So I have an Indian 2022. It's called Bover, and I love it. It's a hell of a thing. It's super clean. That's one of the things that I like the most. And Kyle can tell you because when we were going there, he was like, yeah, I need to ride it. As soon as he ride it, was like, I'm going to have troubles. I prefer to stay with my bike. He loved his bike, the Triumph, but
his bike from what I remember him telling me was like, my bike, the Triumph, is like a smoother, easier ride. It's kind of like a gentle ride. Mm-hmm. You get on that Indian and it is like, it rides you.
Exactly.
It's a tough ride, but you got to really do it. So how long have you been riding? Where did that come from?
Well, I've been riding my whole life, if I can say it. I got destroyed in a couple of accidents when I was younger, and I stopped for a moment. My dad used to ride the whole time, so it kind of was my veins. Mm-hmm. So when I got here, it's like I love the outdoorsy of Raleigh, what it is, and you can be right next to the nature, and that's why I decided to take the bike and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, we're just for a second, and I want to hear all about Madre and what it is. But you're talking about Kyle Tears, and I recently saw Kyle last week, and do you know where I saw him?
No.
Well, I saw him at his place of business up at the AC Hotel on Glenwood. And,
at the Willard.
At the Willard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was having a meeting of the minds with none other than Cisco. And they were helping him out with his business plan and sourcing products for him. And so I'd like to pause now for a quick word from our proud title sponsor, Cisco.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, actually, Kyle was he was the chef that told me, even when we first opened at Crafton, he's like, hey man, if we're not bringing Cisco on, like we're doing ourselves a disservice. I'm like, well, I love Cisco because we work with him with the podcast, but he's like, no, we'll bring him on. You'll see. And I mean, straight up, like it was pretty badass. Like we started to get sourcing that we couldn't get before and get all these great things. And that specifically is here as the industry leader in food service. Cisco's reputation is on the line with every product they deliver. That's why they ensure Cisco brand products offer the best in quality freshness every time.
First quality. Cisco products are monitored by dedicated inspectors using industry-leading standards to make sure customers receive the top ingredients available. That means you can count on consistency and, above all, food safety in every product.
Yeah, and as for freshness, Cisco serves up natural, hand-selected produce that's beautiful to the plate and delicious on the palate, because your menu can only be as good as its ingredients, and you deserve to shop with confidence. When you shop Cisco. It's the best.
Visit Sysco.com, that's SYSCO.com, to discover the value of fresh quality products from Cisco Shop.
Cisco, at the heart of food and service.
Chef, you worked with Cisco back in your Bloomsbury days, correct?
Yeah.
What was your favorite thing or the most consistent thing you used to purchase from them?
Let's not mention just one item, but for me, it was the connection that I used to have with the rep. Like, it was Franz. Amazing guy, and he was always was on top of it. Anything happened, he was right there. It's like, I got you. I can
Franz
think
is a
something
cool
else.
dude.
He was a really cool dude. Their proteins were fantastic. I didn't have any troubles with that. So
That's
shout
awesome.
out to Franz.
Yeah.
And shout out to Cisco
Shout out
for
to
that.
Franz. Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, let's actually, I want to get into Bloomsbury for a little bit before we get into Madre, and we'll kind of like end it with Madre. But Stephen, great guy who recently had taken over. I guess now it isn't so recent; it's about a couple of years now.
I think it's 4 years maybe at this point.
Is it that long?
Because we had him on pre-pandemic, I believe. So
That might have.
It was during pandemic that he took it.
during
Okay,
pandemic.
yeah. So maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. However, but Stephen is a great guy. He and his family, and they were a part of Raleigh's best restaurants recently. And for those that don't know, like Bloomsbury Bistro, John Toller had run it from the beginning and was an icon in this industry. We've never had him on, and maybe we get John in here sometime. But Stephen, it's like that'd be kind of neat to like kind of do retrospective of Bloomsbury. So stay tuned for something like that. Although we have no plans for that at this very moment. Somebody get me in touch with John Toller. But
Isn't he a listener? I think he's a listener.
Well, we'll find out, John.
I guess.
John, we'll find out.
calling
No
John
one
Toller.
say anything to John Toller.
And let's see if he
And let's
reaches
see.
out.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. All right, but Stephen, great guy. You know him because he was up there in North Hills for a while. He helped out with Cowfish, and had run a lot of restaurants in the area, but did a great job as a director of operations there. And then he and his family took over Bloomsbury Bistro, more as a front of the house guy. But then he wasn't like shy of getting in that kitchen either.
No, not at all.
No, which is cool. And he's like he's an artist. He's a musician, piano player. He kind of does it all. I don't think he has a lot of fear when it comes to like attempting new things, which I admire. So just give me a little idea. Like, what was that like working in the kitchen with this guy, taking over this big behemoth of a new place?
It was amazing. Since the moment that we sit down and talk the first interview, we got in touch, we got connected, and it was a really good vibe. Like, he let me do my thing. He trusts me. I trust him. His culture and flavors of the South was a big thing for me because being new here, it was a kind of a thing. So he started explaining to me about all these flavors, about how connect with those things, and it was really, really good. I have nothing but good memories with him, so I'm grateful for that.
That's awesome. That's not a common thing. Usually everybody is like, oh, that guy. That worked for him.
Oh, no.
For a bit.
Shout out to him for sure.
I don't think anybody can say that about Steven. He's a pretty all-around great guy.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
Yeah, so that was your like introduction into Raleigh, and you quickly, like we talked about, got indoctrinated into the young chef scene, like with Alex Ricci and Bobby McFarland and Kevin Ruiz. I first met you over at Bendito.
Yeah.
Maybe we had met once before, but that's where we like spent some time together and got to know all that. What was that like? What your impressions on the Raleigh chef scene versus other places you've been and worked?
So when I got here, it was kind of weird because like the first shock that I had was trying the vinegar-based barbecue.
Oh, okay.
And for me, that was like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah.
Like, I got pretty scared. And
Yeah, like your initial instinct, like the first time you ate pulled pork with the vinegar base, what did you think?
It was crazy. Like I wasn't expecting that at all. Like I think it was a friend of Nicole, my wife, sent me like, you should go and try the Pit. There's a restaurant here. Go there. And I saw pulled pork. I saw brisket. I saw everything. It was like, yeah, there's common things. But I thought about Texas barbecue or whatever.
Sure.
When they put it there, and I tried the first pulled pork with that vinegar base, was like, hey, what is this? And then they bring me 4 more bottles of vinegar. It's like, yeah, you should pour more there. It's like, okay, no. No, this is too much. But it took me a while to understand the flavor profile to it, but it's kind of a thing here, and I like it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Does that mean that you incorporate vinegar a little bit heavier, like nowadays in
Yeah.
recipes?
Of course. Like I have to, and it feels that it's a challenge for me at first. But we love acidity in my country, so I'll try to incorporate it as much as I can.
That's what I was gonna say. But you get acidity from citrus typically. Like you'll do that from lemons, limes, and all. But it's not too dissimilar when you think about how it affects the flavor and the mouthfeel.
Of course.
Just food in general.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, let's kind of like move into that. Let's say, so you started working at Madre. You were the CDC, the chef de cuisine. For those that don't understand, what does that mean directly? What is a chef de cuisine other than an executive chef?
So the executive chef is more about numbers, schedules, and all this kind of stuff. And then you have the CDC. And if you have a badass CDC, not saying that I am or I'm not, as humble as I can be, is that this guy can run the show and creates the menu and do all that part. So the executive chef can take care of the business of all the money-wise number part that it's a hard pen to it.
Yeah.
So if you have someone that can run the show in the kitchen, you're going to be calm with that. So when I joined Madre, I joined as a CDC, and then things changed and got up to here.
So now that you're moving on to the executive chef role, are you not spending as much time in the kitchen and creating as you want?
That was my only thing for them.
Yeah.
When I sat down, it's like, for me, it's all about creation. It's all about food, and my mind cannot stop. So if you're gonna let me do this part, I need to be in the kitchen, and that's mandatory for me. I will not be, and I will not do it if it's not like that. Tyler, Selena, and Brett knows that. I think that's why we get along that good, and that's why I decide to take over.
So does that mean they alleviated you of some of those like number
Yes.
crunching role?
Yes.
Man, that sounds like an awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Selena, is one of the owners. She's a badass. She used to run
Selena Salinas.
Selena Salinas. Oh, you
Oh,
know
yeah.
her pretty
She's
well.
great. Yeah.
She's a badass, and she helps me out a lot with that part of numbers. Her head is all about numbers and how they work. So we get along pretty well, and she's like my sister. So it's pretty cool.
Well, you'll see, to the listeners that are watching us on our video. By the way, if you guys haven't figured this out yet, if you have our podcast on Apple Podcasts, you're going to notice that we are releasing our episodes as audio and as video. They're coming on two different platforms, mainly just because all the other platforms don't always accept all the video stuff. So let us know what that looks like. But it seems as the last couple of weeks that people are really digging the video side of it. We still have our YouTube page going up, and it's great. But this is a great way for everyone to see what we're doing. And I'm mentioning that now because there's a little B-roll that's playing because we took a video crew as we were doing a little test run with our Where Do We Eat concept with Jess Sims. The first episode was with Jess.
Which, by the way, is also a full-blown episode, not just a trailer. It's a full-blown episode on YouTube. I got some confusion about that.
Yeah, actually, we might release that on the Apple Podcast in the video just so that people could see it because we haven't released it that way. It might be a smart way to do it. It's like so you guys can see. Really, just because the food is so amazing, the drink was so amazing out in Charlotte. What we did, and our production team was phenomenal. Like everything looked great, and Jess was an awesome, person to have along. But because this was a new endeavor for us, we got a lot of advice. A lot of like my Holderness crew, like Penn Holderness, was like, "Hey, you're doing a new thing. You should probably do a demo of this first before you go out there and like it's the real deal." I'm like,
100%.
okay. So because we know Madre pretty well, and we also wanted to have a third person because we were going to have a third person. Folks that local and listen to like local My Carolina on CBS, you'll know Amber Freeman. She's fantastic, super funny, super engaging. She's never without a great anecdote at her side. And she came out with us kind of to be our test co-host out there. And we went to Madre where we had a ton of food and a ton of drinks. And then we finished the night at Foundation, which is just right across the street from our studios. If you just look over down here on Fayetteville, and Ian Murray, Kyle Hankin, two of my favorite bartenders in town, made us drinks, and we had a great time. But the nice part about it, and I mentioned it, is Madre is so freaking beautiful. Like it is one of the prettiest restaurants in town, and the drinks are great. Like the ambiance is great. You guys were diligently working back there and just serving up drinks or serving up food. What we didn't see was in the back, like in the kitchen, But I'd like to know. So, as the chef, what's that kitchen look like? What's your staff look like? What's the brigade, if you will?
So I have an amazing brigade. I can't complain at all about it. And I always say, like, when I try to hire somebody new, like, I always explain, like, this is what we have right now, so they can understand what I'm looking for. For me, just like I'm looking for a samurai team that consolidates together and get along. And you can have a hype outside for sure. There's a high environment pressure of this business, but inside is just smooth. We try to run it that way. It's not about like me being the chef or them being the line. It's just about how we work together so we can pull it off. I have people with a lot of experience, and I have people that never worked in kitchens before, and they crushing it. Like one of my best guys, and I always like tell that story about him is because it's impressive. The guy used to drive trucks from New York to North Carolina, and he settled down here. He went to the interview and he told me, like, look, I don't know shit about kitchens. I never worked in kitchens before. But I would love to learn. I'm a hard worker. Let's see what happens. The guy's from Belarus, and the guy's the best garden manager that I ever seen. Like amazing.
Oh,
Garde-manger.
Garde-manger?
Yeah.
Sorry, just trying to help decipher sometimes on these.
But it was amazing.
Yeah,
That's
although
so
all the
cool.
French people are like, you still said it wrong anyways. Garde-manger, yeah. The cold guy, he does the cold food,
Yeah,
right?
he does the cold
Salads, maybe some desserts and such
Yeah.
as well.
He is a perfectionist. He's the one to tell me, like, I don't like that. That's not perfect. Like, I didn't plate it right. Can I do it again? It's like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Like,
There's something to be said about like having somebody that's not like old hat and that has been doing it for so long. Like I do like that sometimes when I'm training a bartender that maybe they're a good server and they understand like hospitality.
Yep.
But sometimes, and I'm looking at you old bartenders when I say this, but if you're at a new bar and they start making the old fashioned a certain way and then you go, well, this is the way I make my old fashioned, shut
no.
up.
Exactly.
That's not what you should do, because the way you made your old fashioned was the way the old restaurant made it, and that's the way they trained you. You need to be amenable and like do it the way the new place wants it, you know, and kind of go from that way. I don't know. What do you think, Matt? Would you rather have the super experienced person or the person with the eager to learn?
Can I say both?
No, you can't.
Well, I mean, then my intuition says I want the experienced person, but I also get the benefits of having somebody that's completely a blank canvas, and they're not like don't have all the baggage of our industry or the minutia that goes through, and they might have connotations. They don't have preconceived notions of it. So yeah, you get a really beautiful, just what's the word I'm looking for? Opinion of non-clouded opinion of your food.
No, 100%,
and the flavors.
100%. And I love that. Like in my kitchen, like I said, I have a lot of experience with some stuff. And I even told like, I know that you know a lot and I know that you've been in a lot of restaurants, but like try to learn from here, be open to changes, because like every chef, every kitchen is different. And that's super important for me, so you can actually acknowledge that and understand that it's not going to be the same. Like if you cook the steak that way, I'm going to cook it in another way, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's not mean that it's bad. It's just mean that it's different. And if it goes right and if it's good, perfect.
Yeah, let's go with it. Well,
Yep.
a couple of things about Madre. So it's a based on Mediterranean plates, but that's kind of a loose interpretation, right?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to stick to that. And Max, you mentioned like it's a sexy restaurant. Let's be honest. Like it is.
It is.
Probably the sexiest restaurant that Raleigh has. Cucciolo Terrazza in North Hills is pretty sexy, but like Madre is downtown. It's in Smoky Hollow where Bubbles and Brisket was. And something I've never seen before is Brian Costello is the designer. Shout out to Brian.
Oh, yeah.
And every time I go in there to taste them on wine or to have food, he's always there. He's like always hanging out. So is he still like tweaking and making sure things are running the way he wants to as far as the ambience, or why is he on, like, you don't usually see the designer still there 5 months in at this point?
Yeah, 100%. Besides the really good relationship that we have with him, he's an amazing guy, and he loves to go there and just like get more inspiration for any other stuff that he's doing, because that place is fantastic. Like I can give 100 for him. Like it was beautiful the way that he designed every detail of it. And sometimes you can actually see him like walking around and just like tweaking some stuff just because he wants to, or he wants to feel about it. And that's amazing. Like I love to see that.
Maybe he just is getting paid in a bar tab. Brian's like, no money. I will accept no money, but I will have a cocktail tonight.
Yeah.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
No, I'm
and
kidding.
I will try the octopus.
Yeah. Yeah, let's get into the cuisine because that food, I've been there a few times now. I just had a little dinner date, couple date. Shout out to Swarup and Shraddha, whose birthday was a couple days ago. Happy birthday, but good people. And I've been there twice. I will say this. The first time that I went, and you were probably there that night. It was on opening night or like media night.
God.
The fire alarm went off.
Oh my God.
And it wasn't your fire alarm, so let's be honest, like everybody, it wasn't Madre's fault in any way. Smoky Hollow, like where we've done the event, like Bubbles and Brisket and all, is like apartments up top, business down below, and so there are a lot of humans living there. It's condos and all this, but the fire alarm went off for whatever reason. I think it was a false alarm in the end, but it didn't shut off for like 45 solid minutes.
Yeah.
Which was not fun for everyone. Do you remember that?
Oh no, 100%. And actually, the fun truth about it was us.
No, you could have just blame New Anthem beer.
No, I'm
No.
100% honest with that. But it was not because of any fire or stuff. It's just the vapors of the dish machine was going up too much, and it hits the sensor. It hits the sensor that it was like super soft, and it blew it up. And we were like, "What's going on?" But even with that going on that night, I remember that nobody cared. Like everybody was having fun, clapping, and when it goes down, everybody would start clapping, continue eating, and it was crazy. So it was one of the craziest nights that I've had.
Never seen any more dogs at one time in my life because every person that lives in Smoky Hollow has not just a dog too. They have like show dogs. It looked like what's the Kennel Club? Yeah, it looked like Westminster Avenue Kennel Club because it was like a little corgi, a little Boston, a little French bulldog. I mean, there was every freaking dog, and they're all just sitting there like waiting. They're like, "What's going on?" Meanwhile, those poor dogs have to hear this stupid fire alarm screeching in their ears. But
and you know that things go down when they like carry the dog here and they put it here. Like it's about to go down. It's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Poor little
just
dog.
Like looking at them, saying sorry.
But let's get back to the cuisine though. So like, what does somebody expect when they're going to Madre? Like, what kind of food would you expect to have?
So right now, if I can say it that way, I just want you to experience badass food, good flavors. I want everything to be shared. We do large plates, small plates, everything for sharing. At the end, I hate the idea of you going there and just select one plate and try that. Like, what if you continue to doing something else? Like, why we cannot share everything? So that's the hell of idea of us in Madre to make it that way.
So sorry. It's just my daughter, and she just called. I just want to make sure. Hey, hello?
So me and Lane are walking over to Chick-fil-A right now, just like letting you know like where we are. Just
Oh, okay, thanks. Sorry, I'm recording the podcast right now, and now you're live. Do you want to say anything to everybody?
sorry. Hi everybody.
Today is Halloween. All right, baby. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, Max is on single dad duty this week.
Felicia is out of the country in Spain right now, touring wine country with Doreen Calandres, which is fantastic for her. And no, it's totally great. I've done those things, and it's a good time for her to get to do it. But being that today is Halloween and it's a half day at school, we've had to do all this crazy coordination. But it's great. Sad part right now, I got to just say, it's going to make me a little sad thinking about it, but I don't think I'm ever going to do trick-or-treating anymore with my children, because tonight, Alexander's 13. She's kind of like aging out, but she's going with a bunch of friends to a big party tonight. And my younger one, Charlotte, who's 10, is just going over to a group of friends' house, and they're all trick-or-treating, and then they're spending the night. So both of the kids doing their own thing, wife out of the country, I'm all by myself.
Beer-o-ween.
I'm going to just be handing out cocktails to, I should just do that. Oh, wouldn't that be a great thing? Because let's be honest, how many dads out there or moms, you guys all have your freaking Yeti cups that have iced coffee in them while you go trick-or-treating, but that is not what is in your glass. But maybe I just have like a little, maybe put a little sign, a little signal, put like a green
Adult
light
trick-or-treat.
or like a different light you put out front where people know, oh, that's the place I go to go get a little cocktail. They're like, oh yeah.
I mean, in my neighborhood, there's a couple of trick and treats for the adults.
Yeah,
which is nice. I appreciate it. They're thinking about it.
And also because this is the weekend after our attempt at bubbles and brats, I have all the beer that was donated. And I'm a garage fridge type of guy, And right now there is 180
Stocked.
beers that are in my garage fridge. So I
So
could just
go to
like,
Max's house. The address
Exactly.
is.
Your neighborhood's gonna be fun tonight.
yeah. All right. Sorry. That may or may not make it into this episode. I just wanted to cut it. I just didn't know if my daughter was going to be, if she was like freaking out because she was all alone. School got out early and all that. So anyhow, could we please go back to talking about the cuisine of Madre? I didn't mean to interrupt.
No
while in the middle
worries,
of
no
it.
worries, all good. So the cuisine that we're doing right now is, like I said to Matt, is badass food. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm gonna put there. I want you to try everything that you can. It's about sharing dishes. I want you to sit down. If you want to try this and share it with you, or you want to eat it by yourself, it's all about how you can like try as much as you can and enjoy everything, plus the cocktails, plus everything, and the vibe that we kind of do there. The most important part for us is hospitality. That you go there and you feel like you're going to your mom's house. They will take care of you, and that's the main idea of what we're looking for.
Do you have any parameters in the kitchen? Like, is there anything conceptually that, you can't do or you can't use this because you're trying to stick to somewhat of a Mediterranean concept?
I've always like me personally being from the Caribbean and having that Mediterranean base too. It's all about freshness, and I love to have like fresh ingredients. I don't want to go to dark sauces or those kind of like intense French cuisines sauce base that sometimes we do as chefs, but I don't want to go that far because it's not what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Simple,
generically,
beautiful, and that's it.
generically speaking, Madre was kind of sold as a tapas restaurant, which lends us to think that it's a Spanish restaurant. But what I guess I would say, having been to Spain, my wife's there right now, Spain is like, even though they're like an ancient land, I think they're like on the forefront of cuisine right now with everybody. So when I think of what Spanish food is, it's almost like what modern food is. And so that also allows you to not hold on to too many of the traditions of cuisine, because if you're cooking Spanish food, you're just cooking whatever the hell makes sense that's going on right now. Is that somewhat fair to say?
It's somewhat fair to say. What I'm trying to look for that in any dish is just the simplicity of the ingredients and how you can combine it and elevate it in the best way possible. But don't overload it and don't like do more stuff than what you need to have something beautiful in the plate. And
So give us
that's
an
all
example
it.
of that. Like, what's an ingredient right now, seasonally, something that you're super excited about? And
For example, let me take the example of one dish that's going on next week. I'm taking a classic of French onion soup that we everybody can try that, have tried that before, and I'm making a croquette of that. So if you take that simplicity of croquette, that is a beautiful thing, snacky, fried to eat and enjoy with your hands, and you take the French onion soup, that is one of the most classic soup that you can ever hear of it, and make it, combine it together, it's like the perfect son to it.
Is there going to be a broth in the croquette? Or?
So I'm gonna reduce the onions with the beef stock until we have that beautiful caramelized onions. So when you break it down, pearls de Gruyere is gonna be like melting inside.
yeah, so it's gonna be like really cheesy, but not like not like a liquid, but it'll have that in your mouth, that kind of texture.
Yeah, and to add to it, I did burnt onion aioli that is gonna be on the bottom. So that combination oniony is gonna go there.
Yeah, the food has been tremendous since you've opened. Okay, so you do like share plates. You also do like large plates as well. And I know that because there's a little transition, there was an opening chef that first started that kind of helped get everything on. Jared, he was there. So now you are unveiling your new menu as it goes on. But like, for all intents and purposes, it's still same style of restaurant. It's just going to be your recipes and flavors at this point.
Of course.
What are some of these large format items and plates you're looking at that you're going to add to the menu?
So actually today I'm doing some R&D and some pork chops that we're gonna try to it. I'm just gonna change the way that we put it on the table. Maybe added some curry to it, and I was thinking about some papaya salad. Those kind of stuff can mix together, different flavor profiles, but I think it can go pretty well with it. I might change the risotto. We have an amazing risotto right now. It's the saffron risotto with Fox Farms mushrooms that we loved it. But we might change some flavor profiles to it we can continue going to the fall menu and the fall-ish things that we have right now.
Yeah. What about the octopus? Is that going away?
No, the octopus setup, yes, I'm going to change it.
Okay.
The octopus itself, I'm really proud of what we create there of the octopus itself.
Yeah.
And if you pull out right the octopus, you got to leave it there. It's just perfect.
So what's changing about it?
So right now we have a saffron aioli with fried octopus head. Like I took the head to cross utilize it and make like octopus chicharron, and slice down as chicharron is part of me. It's
Yeah.
Dominican. We need to have something fried there.
Yeah.
So I took that and add some olives to have the Mediterranean too. So now I'm gonna do sweet potato cream with a roasted garlic aioli and a pepper gel. And the charred octopus, instead of be the whole tentacle, I'm just gonna cut it and put it in chunks in the middle.
Okay.
So that combination with the sweet potato is gonna go pretty interesting now.
On an octopus set, and I know it takes a long time to cook octopus, right? And we've gone over it a couple times on the show, but what do you do for octopus on a warm dish? It's a warm dish, right? It's
Yes,
not cold
it is.
octopus. What do you do right before pickup, like when it's ordered? Do you sear it off, or what do you do at the end of it?
So the process is prep. It's all about prep. It's all about how you tenderize it until the point that you want it to be. But when it's the pickup, you just like direct fire. For me, it's direct fire. I'm gonna put it in direct fire so it can char and get hot.
Oh,
And then I will.
so it's
plate it
not on a
right away.
plancha like
No,
traditional like Spain,
No,
right?
No, traditional is like in a plancha, but for me, I want it in direct fire because I want that
Charred,
charred
smoky.
flavor that I want to add to the sweet potato now.
Right
I
on.
think that's what they were doing at Supperland when we were out there in
Yeah.
Charlotte. If you see those videos from that, yeah, that direct heat, man, and I think that might be between Matt and I what we probably enjoy the most when we go out to eat is like that's where we gauge like how good a chef has been working is like, let me see what you do with octopus.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
we will
100%.
throw it down, man.
100%.
Because it can be good and it also can be like rubbery and,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like
It can be trash, and
Yeah.
that's the honest about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, beans, 100% perfectionist sometimes. I know that you cannot reach that sometimes, but if it's not right, I'm not going to put it out. I prefer to 86 it and not even talk about it, and it's just that.
I will say I miss because this like was neck and neck with Brian Genzer when he was at helming the kitchen at Rosewater. That octopus was coming out like just like, and it reminded me of that like stylistically.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
but too bad he's not there anymore. But
Well, maybe
he's-
that's not a bad thing that we have a bunch of really good octopus all over town that we get to choose from.
100%.
well. I mean, he's not there anymore, so I don't know where he's going to do it now.
Oh, well, I mean, we're not going to give up what he's doing yet, but we know what
Yeah.
he's doing.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Stay tuned for Brian Genzer.
Stay tuned, people.
Yeah, but we'll let let him tell his story.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, what a great guy though. Matt, I was thinking we did these questions out at the farm
Oh yeah.
with all the chefs in confessional. Maybe we should ask these questions to Luis.
All right.
We don't
Let's
have
do
to,
it.
but we could like just to set the table a little bit. And I don't know what the timeline is of when this comes out versus what we did out there in Asheville with our bubbles and brats, which ended up being just kind of more like an intimate private party. And there were about like 7 chefs that showed up, and actually more if you consider all their sous chefs and everybody else that was there.
And the fact that you made a dish.
Oh yeah, I cooked, and
really?
yeah, just did some pulled pork. Alex Ricci was, I would say, in this scenario, I was the executive chef that was walking around with a clipboard, and Alex was actually doing all of the work.
Yeah, he cooked a ton of food. He brought out a smoker. And,
Yeah, I brought out his
Yeah,
smoker.
that's true. Better way.
But anyhow, we had a good time, and yeah, pulled pork. We turned them into quesadillas. Had nothing to do with brats or whatever. We just thought, why not? They're quesadillas. Pete Kingdom, big shout out to him, who owns Original Grills out there in RTP. You can get all of your favorite cooking devices, smokers, outdoor things.
He designed outdoor
Smithies.
kitchens and
Yeah.
everything as well. Yeah.
Knives. They do all this stuff. It's actually like it's a playground for anyone that loves cooking. And he brought a tabletop pizza oven, and that's what we were cooking the quesadillas in that. So
Badass.
it was really, really cool. But anyhow, so we asked a few questions of our chefs, and they did this all in a confessional. So we haven't even reviewed what they've said yet. And so I don't even know where these answers go. So I could somehow weave you into this one because,
Okay.
it's just out there. All right. Simple question first. What salt brand do you prefer and why? Is it Diamond Crystal, Morton's, another?
Diamond Crystal.
Okay.
And why is that?
I don't know. I've been working with Diamond Crystal since I can remember, and it works for me. The balance of salt, I already like know it in my hand, And when I think about that, it works.
Apparently, everybody thinks the same thing because you can't get it anywhere. Like it's in high demand.
We have a shortage of salt right now, and it's crazy. Like I call every rep. It's like, hey, do you have salt? And it's just like we're doing something in secret. It's like, yeah, I have some. Like I got you guys.
Yeah. This is not a Cisco commercial, but they apparently distribute Diamond Crystal in Raleigh.
I will say if you need salt and you need Diamond Crystal, I happen to know a guy. Actually, I know
call
a
Franz.
major
I
company.
might have to call Franz. It's like, hey, I need you.
Yeah. The thing that they're really good about at Cisco, and this is a commercial, who cares? It doesn't matter, is they know how to source, and they also know how to like find it and maybe even take some of the lion's share of it so that it's theirs.
Yeah.
And why not? That's what you do when you run businesses, you know? You gotta
100%.
take that market. All right. Second question. Would you rather have a single award-winning restaurant where you are the owner and head chef, and it becomes the defining point of your career, like a Grant Achatz of Alinea or a Danielle Hume of 11 Madison Park? Or would you prefer to have a chain of restaurants that are a chain of successful concepts but remain relatively unknown, like, say, a Shake Shack or a Cava or a Chipotle?
No, I'll go for the first one.
Yeah, of course. Like,
I will go for the first one.
I don't even know if anyone said the second one.
I don't even know the results. You've watched them. I haven't seen them.
I haven't watched
You
them.
watched them?
I haven't done
okay.
shit.
You've been sitting on your ass.
I have done anything but sit on my ass, but I have not got to review any of the material yet. So I can't imagine any like chef wanting to do that. I mean, we mentioned Shake Shack. That's like a Danny Meyer thing, but he's a front of the house guy. He like that would be more my thing. Like I don't think I would want to be on the line as a chef running a restaurant every day. I'd rather have all these concepts and watch them grow and help out and, you know, conceptualize and create new things as time went on. What say you? What would you prefer to do?
I mean, I think I would love to have the nationwide chain recognition.
Yeah, the second one.
The second one.
But
yeah.
see, we're front of the house guys and we're not like chefs. So that's why we say that. But a chef is like, no, I want to have the one. But like, you know, that is a big difference. And I guess maybe the answer is obvious, but it's not always obvious. But a chef, like a Wolfgang Puck, maybe is a perhaps a better one. You don't define Wolfgang Puck from working at just Spago.
Yeah,
For a long time
exactly.
you did, but then he opened up a litany of restaurants all over the country, if not the world. So he's not defined by one place, but he is defined as a chef, and he works on the line, and he does a lot of that.
Yep.
Right, but
but-
that's both. He got both.
He got both. But yeah, like a Grant Achatz of Alinea, I don't even know. He may have a secondary concept here and there. I mean, I know that Alinea has like the bar and all that. I don't count that. That's
but
like one place.
Like when you think about him, you think about Alinea.
Yeah,
right
That's
there.
it. Yeah.
Just,
But it's like everyone kind of comes to him. And at this point, too, he's got many like CDCs and other people that are doing things. He's still a massive creative force into it, but I'm sure he's not like if he didn't show up to work one day, I think people would still get food.
yeah, of course. But one of the things that I like the most about it, and I can go with that route, is just like I need to be there. Like for me, it's just part of it. Like I don't think that I could have like a ton of franchises and a ton of stuff and not be part of it. I just want to be involved in the things that we created, the things that we do.
Yeah, you're a total control freak. I get it.
To be fair, I mean, in that question, it's inherent, but like you would have created all the recipes and created platforms for consistency that are now going out to millions of people,
course.
which is kind of cool in its own right.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know, like in the sports reference, like a Bill Belichick or a Bill Walsh, like you coached all of these other coaches that then went on and won all these Super Bowls. And so in a way, you can feel this little sense of pride, like, oh yeah, football is now defined by the way I created the coaching technique. It's like, it's all me at this point in a way. But all right, here we go. This one's a little bit more hard hitting. Number 3, looking back at your career, what do you wish you would have had done differently up until this point?
Damn, that's a good one. When I started, maybe be more on top of the numbers part. It's something that not every time you are on it, and when it hits you hard, that you need to be on top of it in that moment. Let's say that Madre needs me more than ever in that position right now in terms of like numbers, administration part.
Yeah.
And if I didn't know shit about it, it would be bad.
Yeah.
So maybe when I was younger, took the deliberate time to actually learn those stuff and don't get it hard headed and don't get pressure of it. Maybe I will change that for sure.
Good lesson for the young kids out there. Like,
Yeah.
hey, and you're a relatively young guy too, but you're not 20.
Exactly.
And so if you're 20 and you're just kind of in culinary school and working on it, it's like, pay attention to those numbers.
Yes,
They're very
100%.
important
Yeah.
for owners and people in the business.
That is one of the major advantages from my perspective as not being a chef of going to culinary school is that you're kind of required to learn the numbers aspect to the whole chef game.
Yeah. But that's not talked about so much like when you're watching Top Chef or something,
Sure.
And
Yeah, I mean, it's a cooking competition. It's not a
Yeah, of course, like the creativity and the creation of it, like your food is gonna for sure mark you as a chef. But if you don't know how to run it, if you don't know how to do your things, like
You're not gonna be
it's
successful.
gonna be over pretty
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
It's just that.
By the way, please tell me you watched Nate Bargatze on Saturday Night Live with the chef skit. Are you guys familiar with this on Saturday Night Live?
No.
Granted, it happened over this weekend while we were in Nashville, but I watched it.
You can watch it on Hulu.
Watch it on Hulu. Nate Bargatze is a great a stand-up comedian. He's from Tennessee. For the joke purposes, if you're not listening or you haven't seen it, he is white, and that's why this joke works. But they make like a food competition about they have two people cooking against each other, and one is an African American woman and another is a white male, and they took them to like the deep south, and the competition was to make like the best soul food. And they're like, well, here are the two dishes anonymously. You don't know who did what. And the panel of judges are African-American themselves.
Okay.
And they're like, here's the dish one. And it's like delicious with brisket and collards and hush puppies and all that. And they're like, this is good. And here's number two. And it just looked like a total abomination. It was like frozen, like weird, but like deconstructed and very chefy. And as the judges, like Kenan Thompson's like, well, we can tell that she did a great job. And they're already like leading the witness that like the female African-American chef did it. And they're like, all right, and here's the reveal. And of course, it's Nate Bargatze, the white chef. And they're like, wait, you did it? And he's like, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. They're like, how did you know how to do this? And he's like, I'm sorry. And then they're like, well, wait a minute. You must have had a sous chef helping you. They're like, yeah. And they're like, bring the sous chefs out. And of course, then a black sous chef walks out. They're like, oh, here we go. And then he stands next to the African-American woman.
Oh my God.
They're like, what? And then a white sous chef walks out. They're like, no, come on. Anyhow, check it out. It's hilarious.
This next question you might have already answered in the same vein, though. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, yeah. I don't know.
Let's
Maybe
see.
not. Here we go. This is another hard-hitting one. As a chef, what is your biggest fear, or what do you try to avoid the most in your profession?
The monotony. I don't like that.
Say again? The what?
monotony.
Monotony.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
like
just
the
doing
same
the
thing.
same thing.
doing the same thing every time. Like I prefer to change things during the time because it will drive me crazy to continue doing like every step of it. That's why
Yeah.
like I remember when I got here to Raleigh, I got an interview in a steakhouse at Bring Franchise. And I asked him, it's like, what's the whole thing to change a recipe here? And it was like, well, you need to send an email and we're gonna take it in 3 months. And as soon as I said that, it was like, okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, not the fit for
Cannot
me.
do this.
That was not.
How often in your, like, I know your guys are relatively new, so in an ideal world, how often are you going to change the menu at Madre?
My idea is change it seasonal,
Mm-hmm.
and for sure, like once in a week, doing some specials to run some stuff.
Okay.
And like it's not about only me; it's about like the team too, and that's something that I try to encourage them. It's like I want my sous to create something. Hey, come up with something if you want to. I will never push you to if you don't want to. But if you have that hunger of it, like let's do it.
Yeah.
Because I want everybody to feel proud about what they do, and I have assignments like for everyone. Let's say or charcuterie board. Now we're doing some house jams. Okay, this is a guy that loves to do those kind of stuff. Do it. Present it to me. Show me your recipe.
Yeah, let's
show
get
me the
excited about
margins,
it.
cost, everything, and let's make it do it.
Yeah, Max, it's like I had this thought last night, and I know you knew this, like going on stage, but when you do a play and you do like a 7-day run, by like the Sunday matinee, you're just like, oh my God, I've said this like 100 freaking times this week.
Yeah.
How do I actually have inflection or like emotion behind it, like
Yeah.
and do it for real? It's really challenging.
Yeah,
And
it
I'm sure
is.
that's the same when you're behind the line and you've done the grilled salmon like 100 times this week.
But the nice part is there's always these like little nuances, like because I can relate to what you're saying in that with the acting side of it, where you, the actor, are going to subtly change a thing, and it's just for you guys.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't change the content of the show,
100%.
but it's just a little thing that you're like, I'm going to say this, going to phrase it weird, or because there's some stupid inside joke about, the color blue or whatever. You're like, this was blue, and you're like, look at the camera, or what you do, and like no one gets it. But it's for you guys, and then that's what keeps you going a little bit.
Yeah, let me put you an example of it. Like we have I don't know if you tried it already or you, Matt, tried. We have the cauliflower on our menu.
Yeah.
Is a badass item that we have. Everybody that goes there, and I like one to the table is like, hey, what are you guys craving for? And it's just like, why you guys have a cauliflower on the menu? It's like, you guys are gonna try it, and then we're gonna talk about this.
Yeah.
I've seen it thousands of times already, and it's like I changed just the plate, maybe. The plate itself, like you said, the color, just to like not see it every time the same way.
Yeah.
And it's just a little thing for us that you don't even feel as a guest, but for me, it's worth it.
Yeah.
And I think, well, Madre is a type of restaurant where it's not defined by a particular thing. And exactly. That's the whole idea of going in there, is that you're going to get something that is of the season, like some new technique or whatever. And, who knows? You might define yourself. There might be something that you specifically do. Maybe it's the cauliflower. Maybe it's the octopus.
Yeah.
Whereas like you may not ever take octopus off the menu, like the actual protein, but you're going to change the set. Exactly. You can change the plate. You'll do whatever. And but you don't want people to really enjoy and love something that they think about with your space and 100%. Then come back and it's not there.
100%. I don't think I will change the cauliflower itself.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, because people go there and ask for it. Or fried chicken. Pretty proud of the fried chicken that we do there. It's amazing creation that I did with Chef Jared, and it's really, really good. And people go there and actually ask for that.
Yeah.
And when you see Madre, you don't think about that as a fried chicken spot. But
No.
when you try it, it's so good that you're just like, yeah, we need to have it there.
Well, maybe this is the answer to this last question.
What a perfect segue in our last question.
Yeah, it might just be what you just said. But the question was, what dish are you most proud of? What would be your signature dish? What's the dish you want to be known for?
It's a two-parter, kind of. What's your signature dish, and then what do you want to be known for?
Right now, I could say that I would like to be known for the cauliflower that we're doing, just because it's one of our best sellers and people love it. But for me, I don't have a specific play that I could say, like, I want to be known for this. I want to be known for how I mix the flavors of the stuff that I do. It's just that. That's a hell of a thing for me.
Yeah, I guess that feeds into why you're like, I wouldn't want to just do the same thing every day and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What do you think, Matt?
Well, this has been awesome.
Yeah, no. Thank you for this. It's been amazing.
I can't wait to go back. I'm super hungry now. I've eaten there maybe 2 or 3 times, and now I'm really ready to go back, especially as you guys are now getting your sea legs and about to change the menu there. So
I drop out new stuff Friday, so you guys got to go and try it.
All right.
Yeah, got to get out there and try the new menu that you've put out.
Yeah.
So,
well, Chef Luis, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your story with us. For all of you out there, you go to Madre too, and you will eat and drink extremely merrily.
Thanks for listening to the NCF&B podcast. And if you've stuck with us this long, review us on iTunes, and remember, 5 stars are encouraged.